Hi everyone. So I'm uploading a video right now on YouTube through my Android phone, and I basically named it "How to Prevent Pulling on Top of a Canopy." And here is the progress on that. And then I'm also looking at it here on my iMac. And basically, all it was is watch. I could look at some images here pulling on canopy, and then it'll probably show some images on that type of stuff. Here, people are, coming up with ideas on how to prevent that with these pool party thingies. Something to inflate it or make it bulge out, which is also good. Um, but what I was thinking was a one way valve type of thing where the water is allowed, the passage of water is only allowed to go one direction. So it's basically like a flap on a canopy. So something like this, I don't know. I mean, this is not the best illustration, but something where the water will be allowed to go through, and if you're looking underneath one of these canopies things, it could have the three ties or whatever, and then it could have like two of these valves underneath it, underneath the tarp, to prevent the water from getting stagnated or pooling, as they call it, on top of the canopy. And I remember my mom or my sister bought one, and that's what happened as well with theirs, because theirs was longer, like this one, like 12 feet. So that's when these valve things will come in handy. So let me see if I could find something more. Oh, I know what to do. One one way valve. I'll say diagram, because that's what I'm really looking for, and not a an image or whatever. I mean, you guys can see here, these are like way more advanced. What I'm talking about is way simpler. It's basically just an overlap on top of a existing fabric or something like that. That's all it really is, honestly. So anyway, I don't know. I can't really like describe it other than what I just described, unless I have like Photoshop, which I don't have, not on this computer anyway, and I can't afford it. $30 a month, so I'm prevented from showing you guys more of this stuff. But it'll basically just be like if there's a tear, because that's what I did. I cut my canopy to allow the water to basically go down. So it could basically just be like that. But mine was created for like the four walls, but it still has a pooling problem. So that's why the instructions say not to like use it in rainy conditions or even windy conditions. So I'm just thinking a good way to solve this problem will be to punch some holes along before it gets to the railing, the horizontal railing, so the water could go down. And even if it's like these here, the water could still go down, but go down on the fabric. That's if the fabric is lifted and basically tied over where the holes are introduced to eliminate the pooling on any of these. So now there won't be any of this pooling problems on any tarp that's out there. Because right now the water's coming down and it's dripping right here. So it's the same thing when it comes down, and if you have a hole here, it's still going to drip like in the same area. So what this does, it just prevents the water from getting stagnated up here. And like I said, if it's a wall like canopy like this one, then the wall can be lifted or a little bit more like a V type of V-shaped fabric can be introduced kind of like this where the hole is. So the water will hit this and then go out the wall and not into the wall. So assuming you're in here, that V thing will be up here, and then you can like Velcro it up there or something. So there's many ways that this can work. And then obviously when you sell this thing, it could be made like affordably and sold affordably to people while eliminating the pooling problem. Therefore, you're gonna make more sales, and you could advertise it like canopy freed of stagnated water or pooling of the water on the top or whatever. You know, that type of thing. You can say that to your customers so they could be more inclined to purchase one. See how this is? It has some form of ventilation. What I'm talking about is like if this was reversed, the thing on the top here, if it was reversed, so when the water runs down, it could be forced or channeled down out here. That's all that it's really doing. So anyway, that's for people that make these and manufacture these and sell them. You know, if you want to make some if you could create this and implement it on your existing canopy product, then you could probably sell more just because you solve this problem. And then people won't have a like a messed up canopy and it won't break, so they'll be inclined to buy more canopy with so yeah, I'm not seeing any with the stagnated water or whatever, but canopy, let me see, destroyed by rain. See this? See how he has to keep pushing it up? And obviously I don't even have to describe this anymore because I think I've made it self-explanatory already. And that was the problem, and that is the problem that a lot of people face. And that's only because the four railings, the four rails that are holding the square together on the top, the canopy is forced down, and then it can't get over that railing. So that's why it requires a stick to be pushed up so the water could be flushed out. So by doing the little holes, the water could escape. So I think I also like poked some holes into the fabric on purpose so that it could eliminate that water and to prevent it from breaking like this. Or else it would have probably broke like this. Because these tubes can only hold so much pressure before they collapse and break. So anyway, I'm hoping that this video will educate us to, eliminate this problem so we could all have a tent outside without the rain destroying it, which would be pretty cool. Now the wind is a different story, but they also sell some that, like, I know they have banners with holes for for the wind. So these things have like little cuts on them like this, like half circles or whatever. I don't know. I just found out that they're half circles by looking at this. Cut wind slits for windy conditions. We cut as many as needed. See that? They're like almost like happy faces. And so when the wind comes, the wind doesn't force the fabric to I don't know, like it doesn't destroy it, in other words. These people cut little holes in them. So there's many ways that this can be preserved longer. by just the canopy material and these type of leggings, these little tubes here. So anyway, I guess now that I think about it, another way that this can be solved, now that I think about it, is I'll use my iMac photo editor, which is very limited, but it's still effective. So I grab my pencil here, and instead of it being like this, straight across, like that, what if it was like, what if it went down and then over a little bit, like that? So if any water comes up here, it'll be like a river and it'll be forced down this channel and it'll come down. So that's why you see some in here that have this thing that goes up a little bit, like corner here. So it could act like two channels. Or even the leg here, the tube here, can be or act as a gutter. See, so there's many ways that you people that create this type of stuff and patent this type of stuff can make it to prevent the pooling. And that's the main thing here. It's not about let's patent this and make a lot of money. It's really let's solve this problem so we won't have to deal with it again. That's all it really comes down to. Now, all that other stuff, we'll leave it to the professionals. So, if somehow we can make this water get channeled down, then it will work and it'll prevent the pulling of the canopies and the destruction prevention of them. I guess it'll go with a lot of things, not just that. So, I don't know. Honestly, I could look at all this shit. I could look at all these videos on the web, and I'll take off my beanie since I'm letting my hair grow out. But I can look at all these videos or all these images and videos at the same time, and I could come up with more solutions or whatever. See, look at this. Look at the umbrella. An umbrella has no railing across it like these do. This one looks a little bit different. It looks like it has these V-shaped things so it could prevent that pooling, that stagnation of the water on the top, which is very, very clever. This is actually a great way to prevent that. Well, I'm sure that's why they designed it in such a way. So if I were to go to my page on Facebook, invent or don't invent, that's when we could all educate ourselves and tell each other, like, let's not make them like this anymore because of these reasons. We need to go for something more like this or whatever, for these reasons or those reasons or whatever. So we won't keep repeating the same fucking mistakes. So we have to get smarter, not dumber. So that's what I would put here in invent or don't invent. And I'm hoping that, more people will like this type of idea so they could create their own business or whatever. So they could, just like the review section in any store now, any online store, there's reviews. People can share anything pro or con about a product or whatever. So the more that we hear about these problems, we could come up with a solution, which they did here, and so many other ideas. So if we look at the umbrella, we notice that it has this thing here, but it doesn't have the side ones or whatever. So when the water comes down, if it gets too heavy here, it's going to force it down like I was illustrating here. It's going to force it down like this. Because it doesn't have the horizontal thing. So I don't know. There's many ways that that can be done, and that's just one idea. There's so many other ideas out there that and see, it's not like people want to talk shit on people's inventions or ideas. Yeah, sometimes there is complications or difficulties or whatever about an idea or invention or whatever, but because every invention brings a new problem. Even with the smartphones, the smartphones that were introduced and then they started breaking, so that was a new problem. So people came up with a solution with the fucking phone cases and all that. People were dropping them in water or taking them into the shower or whatever, and they'll get destroyed. So they came up with a solution for that, etc., etc., etc. So it's all over the place. It's everywhere, and if we don't write this shit down, we're gonna forget about it. It's gonna be a lost art, and that's what we're trying to prevent. We're not trying to lose anything. We're trying to regain it. We're trying to bring it back and introduce it back into the world for hopefully the utilization of everyone, for everyone to use, for everyone to enjoy what the fuck is out there. And obviously, if you want something to last, they say you have to buy it, with something that's going to last longer, like iron and concrete and all that. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with using cheap, affordable materials to get the same results for the same quality and duration of time. And if that's the case, then it could put a lot of people out of business. And that's not what we want, obviously. Because obviously, if you want a strong canopy, you're going to build a fucking, you're going to make one out of wood or metal or something. Or you're going to build a fucking house. Right? Not something like this. But I believe that that I was on the right track with this idea, with the pulling of the water and the little hole on it. So I just felt like sharing it. That's it. So I mean, for you people that buy them, obviously you're going to just complain and bitch about the product and write bad reviews on the internet, but they're not technically bad. They're good for the people that sell it because they get to perfect their product. But it's just your anger and your frustration that you're expressing to the seller. That's how they take it. You know. So that's all you guys will continue doing if someone doesn't come up with a solution. So I think I just did. So thank you very much, all of you. No, you're welcome. And I think we all have the power to do this. That's the cool thing about it. No one is right, no one is wrong. Everyone is right. That's what I believe. Everyone is right. No matter how hard that information is to swallow or to take in or introduce into your brain. But if someone does you wrong, you want retaliation, you want all that shit that comes along with all that. And that's for everyone. Everyone in the world. So we all can justify our actions just based on that. But I believe that everyone's right. That's what I believe. And I believe that there's always room for perfection because they say practice makes perfect. So there's always room to learn. There's always room to relearn and a bunch of other shit. So anyways, so if you guys like this idea, go to invent or don't invent and check out the other ideas that I posted on here. And anyways, Merry Christmas. It's December 22nd, 2019. I hope you guys have a great new year as well. Blessings to all of you. Whether you're a fan or a hater or a non-fan or an unfollower or a follower, or whatever it is that we do these days, a friend or not a friend, a helper or a non helper. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. So, peace.